Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. My new weekly editor, Martin Creamer, joins me today to unpack green worker transport in Chile, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, and De Beers' interest in cobalt. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Ashley.
Now, Anglo-American is ensuring that its Chilean employees use green transport to get to work. Just tell us about
this is a huge, a good example, that you want to lower your own greenhouse gases. You've got that target. So what do you do inside your organization to set that example? You also obviously want to reduce energy and water and all the other things, which is important. But can you do something with the transport? Because you see in Chile a lot of big buses transporting workers to work, which is a fantastic thing to do. If they can do that more climate friendly, it's an appropriate step. I was a bit stunned because I thought, being Anglo-American and part of the Anglo-American group, they would look at hydrogen fuel cell vehicles as an automatic choice. You can see that they're not. They're looking at battery vehicles, which I think is probably a disappointment. Because when you start looking at this hydrogen situation now, it's becoming compelling. I mean, I'm just looking at a sheet here, which says there's an infinite supply, okay, and no carbon footprint, and easily transported, high energy density, clean power, and it can be stored. Now that storage is a massive thing with hydrogen, because we know that the sun and the wind can help us make hydrogen, and then that hydrogen is green. If you can then use existing facilities, the rail wagons that transport oil can transport this hydrogen, which has been rendered oil-like with the new technology. So it seems like a compelling case. I don't know why the world is still harping on this battery idea, because that sort of infrastructure can be done in vain. Because will it be, what we talk here, no carbon footprint? No, because it depends where you're getting that electricity from. If you're getting that electricity from coal, well, you're defeating the purpose. So why spend all this money when you're defeating the purpose? Here, what we could start thinking about anyway is having a roadmap to reduce your dependence on all these carbon intensive situations and set up the infrastructure. And I see the countries that are doing it are not stupid countries. They're Germany, they're going hammer and tongs. Japan, they've looked at this very, very carefully. You see California standing out because they had this huge problem with pollution from their cars. So they are, I think, the penny has dropped for them. They've seen this is the way to go. So I would love the world to start taking more notice of this route, because obviously it will also help us here. It will then mean that at least platinum will have a chance of getting in there as the catalyst in the hydrogen fuel cell world.
And Chile has withdrawn as host of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation after several weeks of protest, and COP25 has been cancelled.
Yes, these are two big things that when I was in Chile, they were talking about them. They were saying that the world leaders are coming here next month, and the following month is this great climate change meeting, COP25. And now, because of the inequality that must have developed in that economy, there have been such serious riots that I think the government has not only changed its cabinet, but it's looking there and thinking, if we have these in our country and there are huge disturbances, it's not going to reflect to the credit of the country. So they've taken a decision to cancel this big Asia-Pacific meeting, which was really a pride when I was there. They were saying, we've got this, we've got these people coming there. So it must have been a heck of a decision for them. But it also makes me reflect back on COP17, because this is COP25. We had COP17 in Durban, and I can remember Anglo-American CEO Cynthia Carroll. She really seized this very, very strongly, because she had huge studies done which showed that what the world is seeing now with hydrogen, she saw it because of all these studies. We had an example of a fuel cell there. Our president at the time, Kgalema Motlanthe, he was with this thing. If we had only taken that very seriously, started studying it, I don't think we would have had an outlook at the moment that we have, where we don't know which way to go with our economy. We would have had a direction in which to move. And so it shows you that these big conferences, they can focus the mind. Our mind was focused there, but unfortunately the government never followed. I'm sure if we had had this COP25 in Chile, with the things going on in Chile at the moment, I mean the drought that they've had there, serious, the situation of creeping desert, glaciers that are melting, they would have taken that COP25 very seriously, and hopefully it would have focused minds on climate change and maybe even moved them towards more use of hydrogen, which seems such a compelling case, particularly that they've got the sunshine to create they're very good on the renewable energy, so they might as well use that to get the hydrogen, go the full hog, because the storage otherwise becomes a major issue, whereas you can see with hydrogen it's not an issue because you can use existing facilities because it becomes oil-like. So it's tradable, it is transportable, and I think maybe the world would have focused more on that, and perhaps this disruption now, I don't know where COP25 is going to go, maybe will upset things.
And lastly, De Beers is moving into cobalt.
It hit me so badly. I saw this headline and it says De Beers gonna drill for cobalt. And I sort of immediately realized, hey, this is capital C. This is not cobalt the metal, this is cobalt the region in Canada. And then suddenly I sobered up and thought, well, gee, the world isn't changing that radically, because, you always associate De Beers directly with diamonds, nothing else. And I thought, wow, initially, this is a changing world if they're going to go for cobalt. But I can now categorically state they're not going for cobalt. They're drilling in a region called Cobalt with a capital C, because it's always known to have diamond-bearing material there. So this is still a pursuit of diamonds. And you can see that, diamonds on the marketing side are getting a different hue, because we always used to associate those diamond rings and probably the male party buying the diamond ring. The latest indications are that in the last 5 years, the number of women buying those rings has doubled in percentage terms, and not going up to like 14%. And not only that, but the women who buy these rings spend more money, like a third more money. So we can see that this might be an interesting new demand pull for De Beers. And although it's drilling in cobalt, I can categorically state it's not drilling for cobalt.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.